Namaste, greetings to all, and welcome. Welcome to another episode of One Way of Thinking About It. One Way of Thinking About It is a Q&A platform where we take up questions from individuals around the world, and we spend about 10 or so minutes deep diving into each question from our deepest understanding at this present moment. So with the foundation laid, let's get into it. Our question today comes in from California. California checking in. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Our question reads, why does the universe/God allow evil to exist in some children who grow up to spread evil? Or are all children really born innocent, perfect, and kind? This is a great question, very powerful question. We have some big things here to break down before we can really get into the question. So this is one way of thinking about it. So first we have to address universe and God. So we'll start with universe because universe is something that we know. Okay, the universe, we know it is made up of the planets, the stars, all of this space and all of these things, these galaxies and all of this. But what also makes up the universe is the law of causation, cause and effect. Okay, so this is the universe, and it can be broken down scientifically even deeper and deeper. But the universe is a concept, and not even a concept, is an understanding that we understand. Universe is a word that we understand. It is based off of cause and effects. Science breaks down or allows us to know what the universe is. Now, God, for this context and for today, we are just going to say God is unknown. Okay, everyone has their different knowledge that they have about God, or their conditioning about God, their so-called understanding about God. But for this context and to keep it light and simple today, we are going to call God unknown. So, and then our last one is to break down evil. What is evil? Evil is something that is subjective. Good, bad, right, wrong, saint, sinner, evil. I was trying to think about the opposite of evil. I don't really know what the opposite of evil is. Was that heaven or hell? No, heaven and hell go together. Well, needless to say, if somebody knows that comparison with evil, please leave it in the comments after this episode and stuff. I would like to know and to go back over that. But I was thinking about it earlier. I'm like, what is the opposite of evil? Funny enough. So evil is something that is subjective to us, just like good or bad, right or wrong. And I say this because truly, and we'll go back with science. Science has proven that there are no two human beings alike. So for there to be a right or wrong, good or bad, evil or saint or sinner, you need a comparison. If there's no two human beings alike, you do not have a comparison. So truly, there can be no right or wrong. You need two or more to put this together. So when people speak of good or bad, right or wrong, saint or sinner, evil or heaven or hell, all of these different things, what they are speaking of from, or what they're speaking from, is their own conditioning, or the collective conditioning that they've come from. So a way of looking at this is the analogy of a cigarette. Some people love a cigarette. Some people despise a cigarette. Does that make the cigarette right or wrong? In whose eyes? And another analogy that we use often that I love is the woman. The woman that one man can't wait to divorce, but another man can't wait to marry. Is she good? Is she bad? Is she right? Is she wrong? It's subjective. To who? Who do you ask? You ask the man that wants to divorce her, might be the worst woman on the planet. You ask the man that wants to marry her, we already know she's the best woman on the planet. So right or wrong, good or bad, evil and all this other stuff is subjective. It comes from, you got to ask yourself, where did I get this from? Because inherently, objects and beings don't come inherently good or bad, right or wrong, saints or sinners, none of that stuff. We put those labels on there. What an object or being does have is an expression. They have a way of expressing certain, a cigarette. Let's go back to the analogy of a cigarette. I was thinking about this the other day. What is the expression of a cigarette? One of the expressions of the cigarette that came to me is to blow smoke. It smokes. A cigarette smokes. You smoke it. That's the expression of a cigarette. It doesn't make it right or wrong. It doesn't make it good or bad. But a cigarette has a innate, inherent expression. You smoke it. A person has an innate expression that's inside of them that they have come with to express, to manifest. And when an individual expresses in a certain type of way, now it can be judged by others and say that's right or that's wrong or that's good, that's bad, or that person's a saint, that person's a sinner, all these other things. But we must ask ourselves, when we are putting those labels on people or objects, we must ask, according to who? And if we are true with ourselves, we'll say that's according to me. Or according to the collective consciousness that you were raised in, or that you live in, or that influence your thinking. Because truly, when you break down the root of an object or being, it expresses in a certain way. So let's take the extremes. Let's go to the extremes. Let's talk about a murderer or a killer or something. They've expressed in a certain way. They have killed another human being or an animal. This is the expression of this person. But now let's break this down further. Okay. So they expressed killing something. What is the intention behind that killing? What and why did they kill this? Now we can talk about this. Now we can say, okay, they killed a deer for food for their family. They were hunting and different things like this. So now we can start to look and see, okay, this expression. And then again, what makes us label, oh, that's right, that's okay, a person can hunt. But again, for another person, hunting is bad. You understand what I'm saying? It is subjective to the individual. It doesn't make it right or wrong, doesn't even really exist. What has happened is this person has expressed their humanness in a certain manner, which every human being has that right to do. They can apply self-effort. They are able to do what they choose to do in the moment. Yeah, I was going to take it to another thought, but we're going to stay right here. That was going to lead into something else, but we're going to stay right here, because right here we still got a little bit more to unpack right here before we open up a whole nother topic. So with this, once we start to truly understand objects and beings are not right, they're not wrong, they're not good, they're not bad, they're not saints, they're not sinners. What they are expressing in a certain type of manner, in a certain type of way. And in this universe that is kept in perfect order, meticulously, mathematically, in perfect order. If this universe is kept in perfect order, what in it can be out of order? Something to think about. So, or are all children really born innocent, perfect, and kind? Again, innocent, perfect, kind. These are terms and words that are subjective to an individual. Every child, every human being is born with something to express or is going to go through experience, because life is made up of experiences. The subject, the person, the object, the world, coming together to make an experience. And in that experience, the subject, the object, the world expresses in a certain manner and in a certain way. And because the subject is one of one, it can't be compared to, so it can't be wrong or right, it can't be good or bad, it can't be saint or sinner, it can't be any of these things. So when we understand that we're all just here to express, if this rubs us the wrong way, then it's something in us that we need to look at. We need to look at our collective consciousness. We need to look at where we have what is rubbing us wrong, what is inside of us that says that this is wrong, this is right, what is going on inside of us. Because inherently in this perfect universe that is kept meticulously perfect, in perfect order, nothing in it can really be out of order. So this is one way of thinking about it. Thank you for joining me for this episode. If anybody has the opposite of evil, other than good, the opposite of evil, what would that be? Please leave it in the comments below so I can get educated on that. So until the next time, much love, health, peace, prosperity, and blessings to all. Namaste.